atmosphere is changing now, for the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around that the Spirit of the Lord is here. The atmosphere is changing now, for the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around that the Spirit of the Lord is here. And overflow in this place, fill our hearts with your love. Your love surrounds us, and you're the reason we came to encounter your love. Your love surrounds us. Oh, the atmosphere is changing now, for the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around that the Spirit of the Lord is here. And overflow in this place, fill our hearts with your love. Your love surrounds us, and you're the reason we came to encounter your love. Your love surrounds us, and overflow in this place, fill our hearts with
seating down, would you mind standing if you can? Friends at home at Bethel TV, if you mind standing in your lounge rooms. Man, I just feel so amazed. To be honest with you, I couldn't. It was hard for me to look around the room tonight. I'm easily distracted, you know. But I looked around the room and people encountering the Lord. Every time I'd look onto the screen, there was a shot of someone encountering the Lord, and then I would begin to look down here and seeing a man with his tears in his eyes. And to be honest with you, it doesn't get better than that. And I feel emotional tonight because I kind of feel like I'm back at youth camp in a sense. I'm getting used to wearing glasses, so if it fogs up, excuse me. But as they began to worship, I felt like I was 13 again. I know it sounds crazy, but that was about 20-some years ago for me, my first youth camp experience. And I know we've been doing youth camps. We had conferences here this week. It's just phenomenal. We're a part of a place that's so active. And as I started looking around the room at different ones, you know, just weeping unto the Lord. It just took me back to that moment when I was 13, just experiencing God at a youth camp. And I looked at the guys, Josh, the guys leading the worship, and I remember setting up for the youth camp. The first night was amazing. The first night of summer camp was monstrous. I mean, I was in charge of the sound, so that means I blew the budget many times because I just wanted the biggest I could get. But I remember the hours the musicians would put in for that one service, for them to lead us into encounter with God. And tonight I stand here privileged at the fact that these guys would have done the same thing. They spent time, hours, months preparing their excellence and their craft to produce for what they produce every week. And then we get to be here partnering with them and encountering the Lord. But I was taken back to that moment in a camp called Warrawee. It's an Aussie term, don't worry. It's a little town outside of Brisbane where I grew up. Hundreds in this youth camp, and we'd enter into a basketball hall. And you know, it's one of those times in my life where I didn't care about putting on my aftershave. You know what I mean? I was just playing sports and then jump straight into worship, and who knows what I smelled like after 5 days, you know? But we were just so hungry for the Lord. And tonight I just got overwhelmed. I mean, I said to my sister-in-law, she'd been there many times with us, and I've known her for a long time, and I was like, it just feels like that. And the strangest thing happened as I was saying, Lord, is this what you want me to share tonight as we close up worship? And the young boy comes next to me, starts raising his hands. That is just crazy to me that a young person would raise their hands unto the Lord. I'm telling you tonight, you know what I love about that 13-year-old me, when we were at that youth camp, I remember it was never the youth pastor that got up, it was the assistant youth pastor. And sometimes the assistant youth pastor, which I became all of those things. Until I had my turn, it took me 10 years to become youth pastor, amen. But he would get up and he said, guys, I know you're hungry, and I knew as a teenager that I knew what that meant when he would get up and say, I know you're hungry, and we've come here, we paid a price. Why don't we just dig a little bit deeper? I remember he would say those words, why don't we just dig a little deeper? And when he would say that, the roar of the band, and they wouldn't care what they sang, they just sang, and the people, hundreds of teenagers would just lift their hands and cry unto God. For some of them, they were experienced. For some of them, they were 18-year-olds. For some of them, they were 12-year-olds. But it mattered not. They just loved Jesus. The demographics were so diverse. They just loved Jesus. And tonight, I just feel like, as you lift your hands, Erwin McManus said about 12 months ago at our conference in Open Heavens, he said that one of the most powerful spiritual gifts that God gave man was the ability to choose. And when he said that statement, I was kind of like, whoa, what does that even mean? And then I started to dig deep over the last 12 months about choice and the benefits of choice. And even in a worship expression, I can choose to go deeper if I want to. I could just leave it there and cap it off. And tonight, I want to pose this thing. It's up to you, but let's just go deeper right now. I don't care if you have to come out of your seat down the front. I remember that'd be the call as a 13-year-old. The youth pastor would say, just come out of your seat. Just put down your phone. Just come out of your seat and worship God. So if that's you right now and you feel this response to you, just come down. As we sing this song again, I'm so overwhelmed as I look into this room. I see people just worshiping God. Just simple worship unto the Lord. And right now, friends, the Lord's saying, if you want it, you can have it. Just continue to cry out. Come on, guys, would you just sing that bridge again? Come on, friends, family. Come on, let's sing it.
Fall fresh on us. We need your presence and your kingdom come. Your will